Actually, at Harvard, undergrad, I played Festi in a production at the Adams House swimming pool.
The pool?
Yeah, which is a theater. Yeah. But it was set in the West, like
the Wild West.
Wild West, yeah. And actually, it worked pretty well, I have to say, especially for the clowns. It was pretty funny in terms of the clowns. A lot of like saloon, you know,
Yeah.
Toby was in a saloon, and a lot of bar fighting and stuff like that. Not so much with the main plot, but yeah, that's the only time. I've seen it a couple of times. No, we didn't do the songs. I can't remember why. I guess we just couldn't, you know, we didn't have anyone to write them or something like that. Yeah. But
well, I mean, one of the things I'm excited about is this man, Chris Rena, who's composing original music, which will be, I'm not sure exactly what idiom I would describe, but a little bit contemporary and a little bit classical at the same time.
Yeah, that's great. Is it going to be played live?
Yeah, he's going to be live on stage. He's going to have that little area over there.
Great.
And I was meeting with George Cook, who's the sound technician and sound designer. We're talking about technical things like mic placements and body mics, hand mics, some of the technical stuff.
Yeah. Is it just Festi who's going to sing, or are you going to have other people sing as well?
I'm hoping that other people will sing.
Yeah.
I mean, I have an image for the beginning that the play begins with music that Orsino is listening to, and I'm imagining that the music he's listening to is sung by Olivia, so that we actually hear her as a figment of his oral imagination.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that's great. I actually saw the production that they did, I think I told you, of Twelfth Night this summer in New York.
Yeah.
With Audra McDonald playing. And she was the only one who didn't sing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So I was sort of like waiting for her to sing. I was like, oh, sing. The music was really good in it.
I mean, it reminds me that, and I think I might have mentioned this to you before.
Yeah.
One of the things that came out of auditions that I was aware of, but not as aware of as I became, is how well-suited singers are for Shakespeare.
Sure.
Why is that?
I mean, that's something that I've always 100% believed, and it sort of always in my classes bothers me when a lot of the people who are good at musical theater and people who do a lot of musical theater always have an issue with Shakespeare, when I believe it's a natural progression. First, I mean, obviously, I think the language is so musical to begin with that if you have an ear for music, I think you have a leg up on this kind of work. And then also the issue that a lot of, I think, younger modern actors have with Shakespeare is they're afraid of the size of it. And they feel like they feel phony doing it. They feel like it's too much of a style. But musical theater is as much of a style, if not more, than Shakespeare. I mean, you know, you have to, as the emotions, and as the emotions get bigger and bigger, then they become expressed through music, and so you jump to another, exactly the same way that as the emotions get bigger and bigger, they become expressed through verse in Shakespeare. But for some reason, people don't make that connection, you know, and I think it's a very sort of natural progression between people who are very musical and sing to doing Shakespeare. I think it's a no-brainer for people, but
one of the things that we're experimenting with, or will be more and more with Chris, the composer, is that there's moments in the more lyrical passages of dramatic verse where characters really kind of take it into song.
Wow. I was going to ask you whether there was going to be music other than the songs themselves.
That's what we're going to try. I mean, we're
great.
starting with the Festi songs because we need to make sure those are happening.
Right.
And then as time permits.
So it would be like underscored and then...
Sometimes underscoring, or I hope we make it. But I mean, the most obvious one for me is when Viola, who's disguised as Cesario, is wooing Olivia in lieu of her master. She has the famous Willow Cabin speech, which has the image of writing songs and singing them so loud that the whole world echoes with the name Olivia. And just as a rehearsal exercise, we tried when she got to the word Olivia, and it's Casey, who's great.
Who's the singer, right?
Yeah. Having her get up on a box and sing that name over and over again. And some stuff really started to happen.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah,
yeah, it's many times I've been to productions and where I thought that's where it was going.
Yeah.
You know, it got so, the performer got so big and so connected to the verse and got bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm like, he's going to start singing. He's going to start singing. And I've never seen it done.
Well, we're going to try to give it a try.
Yeah.
I mean, part of what I was talking about with George was how do we do that technically? How do we do that with sound?
Yeah.
Because it's a play with a lot of music, but it's not a musical.
No.
You know, and planning-wise, procedure-wise, there's certain
You sort of have to make those decisions before you rehearse, in a way. That's one of the frustrating things, I think, sometimes about working on pieces, is that a lot of these decisions you have to make before, and so when you discover things in rehearsal, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't. It's too late to adjust. So hopefully.
Yeah, we were in a production meeting today, and George, again, I don't know why I'm talking about George all day, but he basically said at one point, don't tell Scott that, don't tell Scott that, because when somebody says, there's going to be a 10-foot pole around, then I want to try to see what we can do.
Like incorporate it
somehow. Don't let them know.
Can people stand on the pole?
Exactly.
Can they pull on it?
Can they weight bearing?
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's great.
What's the most interesting part of this play to you?
I like the clowns a lot, because I think, and I actually think calling them that is a mistake, but because I think it's kind of the first time he moves, the play is kind of smack dab in the middle of his career.
Yeah.
And you just see a lot of the stuff that he was using before, kind of the last time he uses it in this play, and then takes it into a completely different direction.
Yeah.
So each one of those what you think are of his stock comic characters has a real deep emotional life and a real darkness, each of them.
Darkness?
Darkness, like
How?
emotional darkness. I find Toby a very dark character,